Hey there guys, today I'm revisiting the longest running project on this channel, which is the DIY travel trailer project. I think this is 4 or 5 years in the making so far, and in this video I'm going to go over the last major build that I'm doing on this. You can see it hanging off the side. It is a fold out awning. So I'm going to show you actually how I made the little pony awning that goes over the door and kind of mates up to the larger awning. And then after I show you that, I will fold out the large awning, give you a little walk around tour, talk about some of my thoughts on it, why it didn't quite come out the way I was hoping, but it will still be usable nonetheless. And at the end I will give you more specifics on things that I may not have covered during the first portion. So you just saw a little recap of how I fabricated that little mini awning that goes over the door. And the big thing to note on that is that the construction I used in that is exactly the same as I used to make the larger fold-out awning, with the exception that larger awning kind of folds in on itself, but you'll see that during the tour. And then the other note that I wanted to make is you saw that I had kind of made that little pony awning, or the door awning, be able to fold back up onto the roof, but I am not having it store up there because I was just a little unsure of how my locking mechanism would mount, and I've decided to just use the little hitch pins to put it up there manually. Just takes a couple of minutes, and I don't want to run the risk of highway speed winds kind of getting under that and potentially flipping it up and maybe tearing it off. So that's why that is one thing just to remember. So now I am going to unfold this, kind of set it up, and give you a little tour, and then I will let you guys go. Well, you just saw me set it up using the one-man solo method, and you may be wondering how long that takes on average. Well, I've set it up easily over 10 times now using that ladder method, and it takes about 4 to 5 minutes. But if I get my wife to help me, it takes anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes, so it's not that long of a process. So now I'm going to give you a little tour and talk about some of the details on the construction of the larger awning. But I want to answer a question that some of you have probably been thinking about the whole video so far, is why the awning does not extend on this side of the door like you see a lot of RV awnings do. Well, that is just my lack of foresight in the design process that was all in my head during this build. I didn't add enough structure on this side of the door to affix one of those rollout awnings that you commonly see on RVs. And when I did think about it, I just figured I would come up with some other solution like this. So anyway, that's why it is. It's definitely not perfect, but anyway, I'll show you the larger awning and I don't know, some of the details about that now. So with both awnings set up, you can get a better look at the underside structure. The total size of the larger awning when it's extended like this is 8 foot wide by 8 foot extended from the trailer. And the smaller awning is 3 foot wide by 2 foot extended from the trailer, and it has about a 3 1/4 inch overlap to help keep the rain out on the upper side. If you remember from some of my older videos, the trim on the top of the trailer creates a little bit of a lip, so anything that goes on the other side of the awning will run off the front versus come off the side. And then the structure of the larger awning was the exact same welded aluminum that I did on the smaller awning, with the exception that this tubing is a little bit thicker. It's 1 by 1.5 by 1/8 inch thick, just because this is a larger structure. And just like the smaller one, I sheeted it in the painted 040 aluminum with VHB tape. And then one thing that I did differently on this is on these little intermediate sections, I used 16 gauge aluminum angle to help save on weight, and I just made some little brackets and riveted them versus welding. And the hinge points are comprised of 2 galvanized hinges that I got from Home Depot there and there, and a 1/4 inch heavier duty hinge that I got from Industrial Metal Supply on the middle, and those all support a total of about 67 pounds, which is what I figured this large awning to be. As I mentioned earlier, the aluminum shelf down here serves 2 purposes. One is to be simply a shelf to put condiments or drinks or whatever else as we are cooking on the little slide out kitchen, but it also serves to bear some of the weight of this 67-pound awning as it is stored against the side. And I have some clips and I'll show you how those little cotter pins or the hitch pins go through the bottom and then secure themselves into this. As for the hinges on this, they are just standard Home Depot like gate hardware hinges, and they are definitely not the most heavy duty. I just have them riveted in place, but not to worry, because when this folds up, these little brackets that I made out of 1 1/4 inch channel, it folds up on itself, and that bracket lines up with that hole right there. So in addition to the hinges, these lower sections are also held in place by way of those brackets with the little hitch pins. And I think, oh no, actually that's not it. The last thing I wanted to address is on the upper side of this awning, there is a garage door rubber flap, like a garage door seal, that folds over the top of this to seal out the rain on this larger awning, and I'll show you some clips of that now. Look at the top side of the awning with that little rubber seal. That's just a garage door threshold seal. And this is attached to a piece of 1 inch by 3 inch aluminum angle that is attached to the top of the awning by way of rivets and VHB tape. And when this door folds up, this seal just kind of rests on the top edge of this aluminum trim on the top of the roof. And that already has about a 1/4 inch lip, so any rain that comes here runs off and will run off past those solar panels off of the front of the trailer. So I think that's just about going to conclude this latest addition to the DIY travel trailer project. But not to worry if you have liked this project over the years. Even though this is the last kind of big build on it, I still have plenty of things bouncing around in my head that I want to do to it. I'm planning on reworking the water system that I originally installed with a foot pump, and a few other little things. So there will definitely be more content for this in the future, but this is just the last kind of major thing. However, there were a couple of things I wanted to cover that I mentioned at the beginning, because I kind of alluded to the fact that this didn't quite come out how I had originally hoped, and that mainly is because of two things. The one I covered during the little tour portion about not having enough structure on the front side of this door to have an awning, a single awning that would kind of cover everything. And then the other is this wasn't quite as slick and as kind of like transformer-ish that I was hoping for, in that I originally had planned to be able to pull this out, and those arms that I have now just kept as single straight pieces of aluminum, I had played around with some scrap pieces of aluminum to see if I could have them where they bend in half, and then when I pulled it out they would kind of lock straight. And I tried a couple of variations, and it just didn't seem like it was going to be something that was secure in case we had some breezes come by. So that's why I kind of opted for the keep it simple stupid method, just to have it take a couple more minutes to set up, but have something that would be a lot more secure. And if I didn't mention it in the little walk around tour, the total weight of that, not including the hinges that are mounted to the trailer, is approximately 67 pounds, and it's all aluminum, so that does sound a little bit like a decent amount of weight, but as you could see when I closed it up and showed you the locking mechanisms, it does stay on this pretty securely. I drove it up and down the road and watched it in my rearview mirrors going over some potholes, and it doesn't budge at all, so I find it to be pretty safe. And my other concern was the little mini awning if I was storing it on the top, but I kind of already addressed the reason why I am not having it store on the top. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content, hit the subscribe button. Remember, you can see my videos here, YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, and also for those of you who might want to get some more behind the scenes kind of stuff, I am going to be opening up a locals community, and I'll post a link to it in the comments when I do get around to doing that. But if you want to see more of my personal life and things like that, I will post that in the comments when I get it set up. So I will see you.